Hello, the doc is in and welcome back to another chapter of Black Clover, chapter 335, Severance. In the last chapter, we have my boy, Lucius, basically turns into what biblically is called a seraphim, got a couple of wings, got some antlers for some reason. I don't know why we have antlers, but that's pretty cool. He turns into that, and then he proceeds to turn Sister Lily into a very similar being. I guess they're basically angels, kind of. She got the halo going on. I mean, but so many names you could have there. And the chapter ends with Lucius effectively one-shotting Asta, and yeah, that was just the end of the chapter. I built different, I guess, literally, because he's an angel now. And yeah, let's hop into this chapter. So the chapter starts off with Asta basically falling onto one of the buildings that they're around, and that just being it. He's out of Devil Union. He got a giant, I assume, cut. Though Lucius did that with his hand, but I guess that's a cut through the side of his body, well, through the front of his body. And Asta's like, I'm not done yet. I'm not out. But he's bleeding through his mouth. He's sweating extra hard. I mean, he looks pretty finished. But, never give up. Surpass your limits, that sort of thing. Anyway, Lucius is basically like, you're gonna die in like 5 minutes, so don't even worry, big bro. It's almost over for the perfect world, blah, 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 blah. But we got the waifus. We got the dating candidates pulling up. Mimosa, Narrow, not really, but kind of. And coming in, Sea Dragon's Roar coming in, and we have Sister Lily being the one to stop this attack, right? She uses spatial magic, right? And like Xenon does with his ability and everything, he just creates the space and then he dissipates the magic. And obviously you think, okay, Lily didn't make a contract with Beelzebub, huh? She got spatial magic. Well, as is explained going on with the chapter, it seems that Lucius purified the demons, whatever that means, and he also is using their power to give to the new human race he's creating, which, once again, whatever the hell that means, not a clue really, but what that means technically speaking is that everybody he's turning into these angel looking things, they get all the devil's magic, all of them. And when we say all of them, I mean all 12 supreme devils and everything, because Lucius mentions that. He's like, hey, I absorbed all the power of the clipped off devils, and I'm giving them to my dudes, my new humans. They're gonna be built different, and they are. Basically, as we see, using his soul magic, somehow he's able to purify devils or whatever that means. And he says that, I'm gonna have my big dogs are gonna be called paladins, kind of going in with that holy angel biblical aesthetic that we have going on right now. And he has Sister Lily, the first paladin, kind of handle the little group here. But before we get into that, we have Lucius basically giving himself a little bit ahead, and he's just like, hey, once I save the world and everything, I'm gonna rule over the worlds or whatever, and I'm not gonna just be any wizard king, meager names. My title will be the greatest wizard king. And we have Asta having a reaction to this. All right, if you look at his face at this panel, it's a little heart-wrenching. It's a little sad. I mean, see the way his face is drawn. I mean, he's barely standing up after the attack he got hit with. And then he has this guy who pulled up, took his girl, who wasn't really his girl, after she dumped him, mind you, after she rejected him again, took her, turned her into an angel, turned him against him. It's rough. And then he got hit the chest. It's terrible. So, once he hears, this guy's like, not only that, but also I'm gonna become Wizard King. But not just any Wizard King, the best one. That's an L. Asta's having a horrible day. But anyway, We have Mimosa basically being like, hey, I'm gonna go heal my dude Asta. Right, you can hop back in here, try to get that round 2. But as I mentioned before, Sister Lily, she says, stop the nonsense. Cube, spatial magic, sacred mana domination. Sacred, again, kind of going in with the angel motif or whatever, and everybody's magic's dissipating as per the usual. And basically, Sister Lily gives Lucius head, figuratively of course, and she's like, hey, I'm able to use the spatial magic because of Lucius. So you can only imagine Lucius is really built different, And I'm like, well, you make a fair point. If he can turn someone else into a top tier, how top tier is he? Pretty top tier. And so from there, we have an interesting turn of events. Basically, Sister Lily says, hey, Lucius is righteous. She apologizes to Asta, and with everybody watching, she deletes him. Asta says he will save her. Well, he tries to get it out. I mean, again, dude has a giant cut on his body. I wouldn't even be surprised that went through. So he's like dying. He's like, nah, I'll save you, sister. And she's like, yeah, and my guess is he's teleported away. But it would not be unreasonable to say she just killed him, and that's end of Black Clover. That really was the Black Clover. If you know that meme, you know the meme. I hope you guys know the meme I'm talking about. If not, that just sounded weird. But anyway, so yeah, Asta's gone. Everybody saw it, and everybody's sweating like hell because obviously Asta was dying, and it would not be unreasonable to say that Sister Lily, who's pretty strong at the moment, bodied him, seeing as they're very clearly saying, hey, we need to body you for our plan. So yeah, Asta's dead, and from there Lucius is just like, yep, Asta's gone, plans all in movement. You got 7 days before everybody is transformed, right? That's Judgment Day, quote unquote. Honestly, y'all really shouldn't try to fight against me, but seeing as I have time magic, I already know you guys are gonna do that, which is kind of stupid, but is what it is. And as he's talking, giving his speech, he has the captains pull up. All the captains, every captain's here, they're coming in, and they're all confused. They're like, that looks like Julius, and it sounds like Julius, but that's not my man Julius, because just start off with, he has black hair. Immediately, it's kind of weird. But, yeah. They're like, that can't be Julius. And he doesn't even respond. He doesn't say nothing. He doesn't say like, oh, nah, I'm Lucius. No introduction. He's just like, well, I did my job, so I'm Beauty. And he just disappears. And that's the end of the chapter. Overall, good chapter. That was pretty good. Solid course of events. Yeah, there's a lot to discuss in this chapter. So many different things. So, is Asta dead? Probably not. That would literally be the end of the series. And he's a protag, so probably plot armor says that Sister Lily did not just immediately kill him. Now, to explain why he would live, now that's where things get complicated. My guess was that, even from reading the spoilers, was that in some semblance maybe this transformation isn't one-to-one perfect, and that there may be a little bit of leaking mind, a little bit of leaking personality in people who are turned into these angels. And so, though, let's say Paladin Lily was gonna get rid of Asta, a semblance of her original personality instead just sent him away rather than killed him. That's my guess. Because otherwise, it's really hard to explain why he's not just instantly dead. Of course, anything happens. This is a manga. There's literally, you could come up with any reason why he wouldn't just immediately die. Heck, he could actually die and then we explain that apparently he turns into a devil for some reason. So with that being said, that's my reason why he might not be dead, but honestly, it could go anywhere. He is not dead. As for developments with Lucius, Cecily, everything seems relatively straightforward. I think Lucius' plan, he's kind of made it pretty clear. It is interesting to find out that apparently he just effectively eliminated the entire devil faction from the equation here, defeating and absorbing / purifying, whatever that means. I keep on saying whatever that means because honestly there's no real clarification for what that means, and also we don't even really know what devils are. Like, are devils a product of people from, well, not people, but beings from the human realm, I will say, or were devils just always devils, just the same way humans are always humans, and etc, etc, etc. I don't know, but it seems like after purifying and absorbing all the devil at power, we know that with for example Lucifero, he ate his heart, so I'm assuming that similar process for all the other ones, defeated them in some way, shape, or form. He seems pretty strong in and of itself, so defeated them and ate their heart, therefore absorbing them, I guess. A lot of speculation, I'm sure we'll get an explanation on that, but seems like he absorbed all their powers, which means theoretically he has at least a total of 13 different magic types at his disposal, theoretically, because you say one for each. Actually, well, I guess 14 because live in Nama, I guess. But point is, he has a lot of magic types. Even if you want to count some people because maybe they were defeated, whatever, definitely has over 10 magic types at his disposal, which is gonna be really interesting. Hopefully, Tabata makes use of all of them, because I feel like it's a little bit of cop out for him to specifically say like, hey, I took over all the devils in the Cliftoff tree, and then for him to only use like the Supreme Devil's magic, you know? I mean, it makes sense, but on the other hand, I'm like, what are the other ones? I kind of want to know what powers they had. You know, I'm sure some of them gotta have some good stuff, but yeah, it is interesting that he's able to do that. Like I said, hopefully we get an explanation on what purify means. Does it just mean he kills them and took their grimoires, I guess, or what? It is also interesting that he's able to effectively transfer his, I mean, I guess it seems like soul magic is just broken. I think that's just the gist of this whole chapter, and really this whole introduction phase of Lucius just boils down to, yeah, soul magic is hella fucking broken, and it is top tier magic of the verse, including time magic as well, as he himself says, but especially soul magic, because he basically says, I'm able to turn Lily, a human, into effectively an angel with abilities similar to mine, and increasing her power, because she by herself is now a top tier, completely neg-diffing Noelle, who should be captain level at this point. I think captain level's a fair estimate for her power level at this time. Just neg-diffing her. And Mimosa, who's not an attack mage, but still neg-diffing her. And Narrow. So yeah, I mean, I don't know what level you would be at, like, coming off the last arc. I mean, yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not a lot to say, but there is a lot to say. It's like there's a lot of implications here, but there's so little evidence to work with that's kind of like, you know, it's just a lot of speculation. There's a lot of questions to ask, but there's no way to really answer them at the moment, unless you're like really just shooting in the dark, which is not what we do on this channel. I'm just here to review, give my thoughts, and that be that. But basically, Lucius is built different. Him being like, you know, 7 days holy number until Judgment Day, and then I assume he's just gonna, I mean, honestly, once again, it's kind of weird. I don't know why he's not just immediately just tapping people, because it seems like for the most part he can just kind of tap people, and then they not only become subservient to him, but they gain really good abilities and a lot of magic power to use said abilities. I mean, if that's the case, I mean, he could just start tapping people now, and like if you can create at least a group of 10, defeat the captains, that's kind of it, because there's no Julius. And then if Alice is defeated, I mean, if you defeat the captains, everybody else is weaker than them, and so on. I mean, I don't know. There could be any reason why he's given 7 days. I mean, it takes a lot out of him to turn people into the angel creature things, or maybe he just hasn't finished preparations. Honestly, who knows? But we got 7 days. 7 days, and then he's gonna pull back up. So that's probably gonna be the timeline. In Black Clover days, the big fight's gonna happen. So I mean, that doesn't really mean anything because manga time, but I thought it was interesting for him to point that out. And yeah, I think that's about it for the chapter. If you like, leave a like. If you dislike, leave a dislike. Comment, what do you think of the angel form? Is Sister Lily top tier, top of the verse at the moment? Well, second to Lucius, but top of the verse. What do you think it means that he says purify the devils? Like, I feel like that has a lot of implications to it that aren't being really addressed by Lucius, because it doesn't seem like he cares a lot, but I care a lot because I think that could go in so many different directions. But yeah, what do you guys think that means? And otherwise, feel free to subscribe, ring the notification bell, blah 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 blah, you know, YouTuber stuff. And the doc is out. Peace.